Skateboard bearings are those small metal little circles that go inside your skateboard wheel. The better the bearing, the longer the wheel will spin, and the less you will have to push. I paid a pretty penny for my bearing, so let's give them a spin, shall we? It's gonna stop spinning any day now. Any day now. Skateboard bearings are those small metal little circles that go into your skateboard wheel. They are essential to making your wheel spin smoothly on the truck's axle. Bearings consist of several small little balls enclosed in a shield. When the skateboard is in motion, these bearings reduce friction between the wheel and the axle. This allows us skaters to achieve faster speeds, but with less effort. If you're building your own skateboard, then choosing the right bearings is crucial. You may have such questions like, how do I know which bearings are good? Is it better just to spend a whole lot of money on bearings? And most importantly, what in the gosh dang heck is that ABEC rating all about? Well, today I'm gonna be answering all those questions and more, so let's hop on our metaphorical horses and ride into the sunset, cowboy. Yeehaw! Before you even head out and start looking at which bearings to buy, it's important to understand the bearings and all the terminology around them. I know this stuff can be kind of boring, but it is very important, so to help you focus, I'm gonna slip in a code word at some point during this section of the video. Try to find it, and if you do, let me know what it is in the comments down below. Okay, so there's this thing called the ABEC scale. It goes from 1 to 9 in odd integers, so essentially there are 5 levels. To break it down into the simplest terms, the higher you go on the scale, the tighter the tolerance is. And I don't mean tighter as in cool, I mean like the tighter the tolerance is, the easier the wheel is going to spin. The higher you go up on the scale, the longer your wheel will spin with less effort. There's probably like a whole scientific way to explain all this, but last time I checked, I'm not a freaking nerd. Please don't look at any of the Pokemon or Star Wars stuff behind me. I don't even know what a Pikachu is, you know? So again, there are basically 5 levels of bearings. ABEC 1 is going to be the least smooth bearings. They are cheap, but they also aren't gonna be the greatest bearings out there. Jumping to the other end of the spectrum, ABEC 9 bearings are gonna be extremely high in precision. Now, these are gonna be great if you're doing insane things like downhill skating. They are a bit harder to find because at that level of precision, it doesn't make that much of a difference for skateboarding. In most cases, the average skateboarder is not going to need ABEC 9 bearings, but we'll get to all that in a minute. What's important to keep in mind is that there are different levels of quality with these bearings. And some companies do not use the ABEC rating, so if you're buying from them, you may have to do a little bit of digging before you make that purchase. Bearings are used in a lot of things other than skateboards, so sometimes the ABEC rating can be a little inaccurate for our purposes. Alright, so putting together this video is a bit of a challenge because these days, a ton of companies are ditching the whole ABEC rating system. They're going at it with the whole jazz approach, and it's like, you know, it's all about the ABEC ratings you're not using. The thing is, the more folks that jump on board with the whole non-ABEC rated bearings, the clearer and clearer it becomes that maybe the ABEC rating isn't great for skateboarders. That being said, I see a lot of Bones bearings that are typically just rated as skate rated, which do not use the traditional ABEC rating. And look, I love Bones bearings and I've been using them for years, but you kind of just have to read about them and trust what they're selling you because they don't use that traditional ABEC rating. So what the heck am I trying to say here? Basically, always check the ABEC ratings before you purchase your bearings if it's available. Don't just see a price tag and assume that they are better bearings because you may be overpaying for something that's barely different. We'll talk about all this a little bit more in the brand section of this video. The secret word is Dr. Pepper. When you are buying your skateboard bearings, there are several factors to consider. First, what type of skateboarding are you trying to do? Are you primarily using the skateboard to get from point A to point B, or do you want to learn some tricks? If you are a beginner skateboarder, I recommend at the bare minimum to get ABEC 3 rated bearings or higher. To be completely honest, ABEC 1 bearings are actually pretty hard to find because most skateboarders wouldn't go near those things with a 10-foot pole. And honestly, even if you do find some ABEC 1 bearings, they're probably like the same price as ABEC 3 or ABEC 5 bearings. So just don't go near the ABEC 1s. Bad time. Just me on Family Feud. It's not, ABEC 1 bearings are not, what am I doing here? I forgot how Family Feud works there for a second. For the average skateboarder, maybe you know a few tricks and maybe you use your board to get to class, I'd recommend getting bearings that are either ABEC 5 rated or ABEC 7 rated. These are just good overall bearings to get regardless of what you're doing. Now, with all that being said, skateboard bearings can actually last you a pretty long time, especially if you treat your setup with care. There is also a bunch of cleaning supplies out there that you can get to make sure that your bearings last as long as possible. Now let's say you want to spend an absurd amount of money on bearings. What should you do? Up until this point, I've been only talking about traditional steel bearings for skateboards. However, it is worth mentioning that there are ceramic skateboard bearings available. I really haven't dived into the whole ceramic bearings thing for a couple of reasons. One, they come with quite a hefty price tag.
Holy moly.
And two, there's some controversy surrounding these bearings on whether or not these are even necessary. Despite being lighter than steel bearings, which reduce friction and improve performance, they are ceramic, which means they are prone to chipping, breaking, and cracking. In my research for this video, I've encountered a variety of opinions. Some skateboarders swear by them, while others think this is just some big marketing gimmick. Personally, I haven't used ceramic bearings because of that high price tag, but if I had to give my advice, I'd recommend to just stick with steel bearings. In my opinion, that slight performance boost you may get from bearings like this is not worth that extra expense. Ultimately, the choice between steel and ceramic comes down to your personal preference. Many skateboarders find satisfaction with the reliable and budget-friendly steel option. But you go crazy. Do what you want. I'm not in control of your life. I say this in every single one of these board building videos, but shop at a reliable skate shop. As long as you purchase your bearings from a trustworthy place, you really can't go wrong on which brand to go with. Now that being said, a lot of skateboarders out there do have their preferences. Like I said earlier, I've been using Bones bearings for years, and the reason I keep going back to them is that they are reliable, they're super fast, and they're affordable. I used to just buy the Bones red bearings, which run about $15 to $20, but this year I was feeling a little bit crazy, and I decided to spend $5 more to get the Bones big balls bearings. Yes, that's what they're legally called. And those bad boys are even better. Now, as I said earlier, Bones doesn't use the ABEC system, but these bearings that I currently use are probably way higher up on their quality scale. Some other brands I'd recommend if you have no clue where to start are Bronson Speed Co., Spitfire, and Independent. I'm not saying that those are the only good bearing brands out there. Those are just some of the ones that I have used in the past and have liked. I recommend to continually try to evolve your skateboard setup to help fit your style and preferences. I hope this video has been helpful to you and has brought you one step closer to your ideal skateboard setup. Before you head out, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button down below and consider subscribing if you want to see more skateboarding content like this in the future, that would be rad. Thanks for watching, and as always, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar. She's being a little monster today. Tell everyone that you're being a monster.